Former President Trump had a stunning remark about his motives for running for re-election. Listen.
I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here, but the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again.
Here to respond to the night, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who's also a surrogate for the Biden campaign. Governor, thanks so much for being here this morning. I want to kind of cut through it and just get right to the top question, and that is, do you think that President Biden can be your party's nominee and still defeat former President Trump?
Yeah, well, good morning, and thanks for having me. Yeah, I do. Look, he had a bad night last night. I hate these debates. I've been through dozens of them myself, but they're performative. The bottom line is how do you deliver as president? And as a governor, I've had the job under President Trump and under President Biden, and the difference couldn't be more stark. The ability to be able to deliver what governors need, the ability to be able to deliver on things like infrastructure, simple things we should be able to do. So yeah, I absolutely believe that. I think it's incumbent on us to go out and make the case about how the country is moving in the right direction versus what you saw from the former president, which is a list of grievances.
So performance is part of it, right? So we know that a vast majority of Americans have a lot of concern about the age of the president and his capabilities, but he was the one who said, watch me, because he wanted people to see him perform. Watch here from 60 Minutes.
My next question. You are more aware of this than anyone. Some people ask whether you are fit for the job. And when you hear that, I wonder what you think.
Watch me. I mean, honest to God, that's all I think. Watch me. If you think I don't have the energy level or the mental acuity, then you know, that's one thing. It's another thing of just watch and you know, keep my schedule, do what I'm doing.
And, you know, that was 2 years ago. And the New York Times, for example, if you look at their headlines today on the editorial page, all of them are saying it's basically over. And they're just waiting for the announcement that President Biden will back down and have a change of heart and turn this around. But you're saying that you believe that Joe Biden will give the speech at the DNC convention as the nominee?
Yeah, look, one bad night. I think we could learn something from Republicans. Republicans will not abandon Donald Trump through indictments, through whatever it may be. No, look, it's about governing. This week, we are flooding out here in Minnesota. There's a dam that you saw on the news that's catastrophically could fail. That's 10 miles upstream from my house. Joe Biden's on the phone on Wednesday, clearly understanding what the situation was, getting FEMA on the ground. This is about delivering. During the COVID pandemic, I had Donald Trump pitting me against other governors on the most basics of health care while denying that we had an issue on this. I never got a call on that. He sends a mob to my house on January 6th. I will give you this, though. Donald Trump was clear, he was lucid, and he was direct when he made it clear that he's the person who took away women's reproductive rights. He's the person who's defending the insurrections on January 6th. So the idea on this is that President Biden had a bad night on this, didn't, you know, perform the way people are. Donald Trump is a performer. I will admit it. He's entertaining. Sharks being shocked by batteries in boats or lathering his hair, but that's not governing. That's not what it takes to get things done.
Governor,
that's the difference. So look, there's a...
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the president had one job, and according to Democratic analysts, he had one job: to get on that stage and convince people that he was up to the task, that he could do the next 4 years.
And he asked for the debate.
And he wanted it early. He asked for it with those rules, and they got everything they wanted. And in the first few minutes, we saw, and America saw, what happened. We spent the last week listening to the White House and campaign aides say that there were cheap fakes that were being misinterpreted, videos that were taken out of context to show the president in bad light. This was not a cheap fake. This was 90 minutes. And America, and obviously Democrats this morning, are saying he may not be up to the task.
Yes, certainly not the finest hour, but I'll say this again. You know, we're a big party. We have a lot of diverse ideas. It's a bit like herding cats, but at the end of the day, we understand this about two visions of America. One that's a decent man in Joe Biden that cares about what happens to the middle class, and then there's Donald Trump. We know what that looked like. The lie after lie doesn't change the fact that that presidency did not serve this country well. So look, I hear the concerns on this. The president's going to get another opportunity to do this. We all have these days. Not every broadcast is perfect. Not everything that we do on it is where we want it, but we got to come back and make the case because the contrast is too great. And look, I've served in Congress with President Bush and worked together. Donald Trump is a different animal. Donald Trump is not there to deliver, and the things and the policies he's put in place certainly didn't help Minnesotans. Joe Biden has done that, delivering on infrastructure, delivering on what we need, and he needs to come back. I'll give you that. He needs to come back and make the case.
Governor, he's fortunate to have you in his corner. We appreciate you being on. Thanks
for coming on.
Thank you for having me.